You have to be careful about making a weird show or watching a weird show.
Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast. Joined today, as I often am, by the sprightly Giles Edwards.
Hey.
There he is, looking like a sprite. Today we are going to mostly discuss previewing titles that are playing at the Toronto International Film Festival, which of course is a big commercial festival, and therefore the films that we will review today have a high probability of becoming available to you soon. There's the ones we're specifically choosing to cover, of course, are perhaps the more niche offerings, the weirder offerings, so they have less of a chance to get broad distribution. But still, playing at Toronto, you'll probably be able to see these all on VOD, fingers crossed, and relatively soon, I would say, for some of these. Actually, I know that one of them will be available soon, and I suspect some others will as well. But before we do that, we also have two releases to discuss, one of which we have mentioned before. Can you see the screen, Giles?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
If you'd like, you may describe this still, sort of advertising still.
Yeah, this is an interior of a sort of trendily trashy apartment room. The bed thing with its built-in sort of shelf behind it obviously looks expensive, but it's in a busted sort of stucco background there, an interesting window structure. There's a little lamp in the left-hand corner providing an improbable amount of illumination. And what we see here is a long, lithe, reclined woman enjoying a cigarette, and sort of nestled, snuggling with his head on her belly is a interesting looking fellow with tousled hair, something that looks like a uniform, certainly bright white slacks, and they both have a sort of European dismay look going on as they recline here in what should be ostensible comfort.
Well, languid, smoking Europeans. What in the world? Very good. Goes quite back to the Nouvelle Vague, huh?
Mm.
So and it also has the title on there.
It does. The title is an imperative sentence: Kill the Jockey.
Yes. And this is one we discussed before. I believe you were on when we discussed it, weren't you, Giles?
Yeah, it's like seems like a couple months ago now, at
Oh,
least.
yes, we discussed it with Jason Trust.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. And he didn't see the trailer, but you did.
Yeah.
And having watched the trailer again a second time, I think we can say the basic plot is it's about a jockey who has a drinking problem and perhaps a cocaine problem as well, and perhaps other drugs, who is also in somehow with the mob and does something to displease them, has an accident and kind of disappears and may need to go into hiding and into disguise. It's described as beautifully surreal. Watching the trailer again, I got something that I hadn't noticed the first time, which is I got, although it's very European-y, I got a lot of Wes Anderson vibes from it.
Yeah. A vague recollection of that myself. So yeah. Well, I've just rented it, so I'm looking forward to covering it.
That was fast. What cigarettes do you think she's smoking there?
Oh, geez. It doesn't look like anything I could find around here. Let's zooming in on my screen. So let's see, silver packet. Yeah, they might not even be a real brand. And also, I think Europe has various packaging laws that.
I believe this is a Spanish movie. However, I'm not 100% sure that I remember. It might be South American, but I do believe it's Spanish. You
We
don't
got,
happen to know, do you?
oh, I'm doing a quick look here. Let's see, original title El Jockey. Well, that's they obviously stayed up all night thinking of that version for the word. Country of origin. Let's see. Luis Ortega is the director, Argentinian
Yeah.
director.
Yeah, okay. So it's not Spanish, it's Argentinian and set in the horse racing slash Argentinian mafia worlds
Nice.
of Buenos Aires.
Oh, yes. Official submission of Argentina for the quote, Best International Feature Film category of the 97th Academy Awards in 2025. So,
That's good. Maybe it'll make it. If it's really weird, it probably won't, though.
yeah.
So before going to Toronto, let's discuss this other movie. We have a
Mhm.
Blu-ray here that you may describe for our
Sure. This is done up like a book cover that has a font and framework style that a number of people will probably recognize from their youth. I certainly recognize this. There's the title just above, and the main image here is within a sort of orange ochre soft framework, and done up in not quite cartoonish, but definitely almost fairy tale color drawing thing. There's a church that's slightly askew in the background. There's a starscape. There's a twin engine spaceship that is legally dissimilar from the USS Enterprise. And that's flying over a casket that is not quite upright, maybe at a 50, 60 degree angle. And emerging from the opening lid is fire, and behind it is fire. And I guess it's leaning up against this rickety fence, this rickety post fence that evokes a countryside kind of feel along with the grass there. And we are advised at the bottom, if I'll read this text, determine your own destiny, as opposed to choosing something.
Hmm. Okay, well, yeah. So what? Um, Before I get, do you know anything about this project, Giles?
I know a little bit. I saw a precursor to it. It's from a filmmaker we've chatted with before, and it looks like it's his preferred combination of cinema as narrative and meta narrative, judging from the trailer at least.
Yes, it's very meta movie. So this is Wheel of Heaven from Joe Badon, who we will have on again to discuss this movie once it goes to streaming. We don't have the streaming date yet, but we decided he wouldn't come on until it was streaming. But here it is, available on Blu-ray if you want to just take the dive without going streaming, or you know this movie already. Here it is. It is based around a choose your own adventure style premise of those books, where you would we had them back in the 80s. I don't know how long they lasted, or if they're still around today, but you'll read a little chapter and it'll say, if you want to do A, go to page 22. If you want to do B, go to page 52, and so on. The description on the back of the Blu-ray reads, local mechanic Margaret Korn is thrown into a multi-layered world of riddles, revelry, and existential dread after finding a mystical book in a mysterious thrift store. If she wants to reclaim her life from her controlling present and traumatizing past, she will have to choose between a brand new, uncertain future or the repetitive pain of abuse and control. And it's at least the cut I saw was I think a final cut, but he might have made some changes after that. It was a very late cut if it wasn't the final cut, and it is organized in a series of chapters. And he did the first chapter, The Blood of the Dinosaurs, and released it separately as a short film, which Giles was able to see. And I will say that that prologue sort of stands alone, but at
Mm.
least one character comes back from that for the rest of the story. And it goes in all sorts of different directions. There's a large part set aboard as kind of a Star Trek parody, and then there's a lot of it that is just with a bunch of weirdos in weird Halloween costumes doing weird things. If you look at the trailer, you're going to see it's pretty wild and all over the place and out there. And also, it does have that heavy meta element where the director and the lead actress
Mm.
here discuss her performance at a couple different, at least a couple different points, probably quite a few points in the story. So that's that. Anything to add there, Giles?
Oh, just doing some quick research here. The Choose Your Own Adventure series was published between 1979 and 1998. 184 different volumes of it.
Wow.
250 million copies sold between well, during its publishing years. So
So I
big.
assume people would still be familiar with those books. It wouldn't just be.
Certainly anyone as young as me.
Yeah, okay. I have no idea how old you are. I'd get 22,
That's exactly. That's why I'm
somewhere
so
between
hip.
22 and 51.
Yeah, that's about right there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Um, so that's Wheel of Heaven. Now let's go to Toronto.
All
For
right.
Toronto, of course, the it's of the big festivals, the big prestigious festivals. Toronto is the most commercial, and it's the one that has um, the most films. There are just so many films here. So they don't favor weird films at the Toronto Film Festival, but because they have, hundreds of films playing there,
Yeah.
inevitably there are some that are weird, and I've identified about seven, um, which we'll see. I think we can get through them pretty quickly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Let me share my Toronto screen. Can you see my Toronto screen there?
Yes, I can see the Toronto screen.
Well, let me go with starting with the ones I think are probably the most promisingly weird first. Which of these did you think was looked the weirdest, Giles? Maybe I'll let you pick.
Well, I scanning through their big alphabetized list, which put all the titles with the under
Yeah.
T, so I wasn't nearly finished nearly as soon as I thought I was going to be. I was most intrigued to see Junk World.
Junk World. Okay, well, let's start with Junk World then. Junk World is, of course, a sequel to a movie,
Prequel.
a prequel, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um, it's made after
Oh
the
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And
chronologically in real life a sequel. It's a prequel in terms of
uh,
the narrative history. To what was Junkhead,
yes,
which you
yes,
saw.
which is something that I should probably check out again because the more I've thought on it on and off over the years, the more I suspect it deserves another look.
hmm You saw it on one of your first trips to.
Yeah, yeah. I saw I think it was an early edit because I remember it being like a couple hours long, and the more recent cuts I've seen, at least the time wise, was slimmed down, which kind of made sense. But regardless, Takahide Hori is, well, certainly talented and dedicated.
Stop motion and animation. Uh, this one, at least, is science fiction.
Mm.
Assume the other one was science fiction as well, and dystopian.
Oh, yes.
And this one involves time travel, which I'm not sure if that was in the first one or
Ooh.
not, or that's new to this one.
And I think that is new. Yeah, the travel in the first one was get downwards
Hmm.
into the subterranean
Hmm.
uh, massive caverns and machines and stuff.
Well, this is set in a subterranean world. Let me read you the synopsis. A surprise attack on a joint expedition between humans and their emancipated clones becomes the freaky fulcrum for a dimension-hopping time travel fable set over a millennia before Hori's original subterranean stop-motion animated opus Junkhead. So you would be able to tell us more about this, I guess, than I would. I don't know anything really beyond that.
Um, it's very dedicated. It's very full. Junkhead is very far into the future, many thousands of years, and extrapolating out to what that would conceivably look like. And he isn't quite a one-man band, but in the credits, it was almost entirely his name. And reading through here, it looks like he has grown his animation staff from 3 to 6.
Doubled it. So,
Um,
and
oh yeah,
we will say Guillermo del Toro is a fan. So
yep,
that the still
as well he would be.
yeah, the still we have doesn't really show you much. It's like two soldiers and what's probably a robot.
Yeah.
The junk refers to the literally junk, or is it just the
Yeah, the junkhead of the first one was this I believe it was a derelict, borderline crashing to pieces robot that we largely follow, or that we observe throughout this, and it's a really dumb insult from one of the characters to another, just calling him Junkhead, and
all right,
or
and
was it the Avatar? Oh man, hang on.
Japanese, of course. So
Yes.
okay, that's Junk World. Now the one I picked out as what seemed to me the most promisingly weird is this one called
Huh?
Egghead Republic. Again, the still doesn't tell you much. They really choose some uninteresting stills for the most part for Toronto.
Yeah, and
Just
I
a
mean
picture of an actress.
yeah, looking a little unnerving, I guess, but not.
It's just a headshot. It doesn't
It's a
tell you.
headshot, and
Doesn't
and a
tell
lot
you
of that's
anything.
on actually the distributors, what they want to have as the images, because at least Fantasia pretty much works from
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
filmmakers give them.
It's just that all of them in this one are almost all headshots. They don't give you much information about the film. So
No.
maybe that's intentional. I don't know.
And
However,
maybe
let
she's
me.
really big in Sweden, where this movie comes from.
This is Sweden, yes. So this is a Swedish movie. Let me describe the quick synopsis. Freaky science fiction collides with a ruthless satire of gonzo journalism and indie sleaze excess in this audacious feature by Sweden's Pella Kagerman and Hugo Leja. No idea if those names were pronounced anything near correct, but two Swedish folks. And then the first sentence of the longer synopsis really caught my interest. Even in an alternate timeline where the Cold War burned hot enough for an atomic bomb to fall on Soviet Kazakhstan, there persists a familiar constant, the unpaid internship. For Sonia Schmidt, it is thanks to this exposure economy that she is persuaded by hipper-than-thou culture mogul Dino Davis, Tyler Labine, to accompany a gonzo journalistic expedition to a joint Soviet-American military base that monitors a Kazakh radioactive zone, one rumored to be rife with irradiated centaurs. So, it's kind of a satire, more not more maximalist satire set in the world of Stalker, kind of is how I would describe it. They even use the term "the zone" in there,
Mm.
so. Um, they also describe, the programmer describes it as funny and freaky dreamlike tension as the film teeters between a surrealist farce and an incisive critique of the media industrial complex. That sounds right in my wheelhouse.
Nice.
Um, So since we don't know much about this, do you have anything to add, Giles?
I only know what that website told me, so.
Yes, you didn't notice anything else. All right. Do you have another one you'd like to look at, or?
Yeah, quick, this is probably unlikely, but I'm always got an eye for cartoons and potentially weird children's stuff. Arco looked like an outside shot at potentially being strange, if only because it's French, animated, and the image at least suggests a bit of psychedelic lighting,
Yeah, you
and
can go ahead and describe that image if you like.
okay, well, we got a sort of here. I got a bigger version. All right, so we got it's like a fabric background that's done all up rainbow style, and it gathers around a collar for this expressionless face staring straight ahead of us, straight ahead at us. There seems to be light emitting from this individual's forehead as they wear this motley illumination. What's it? And around this light emitting person's shoulders are the arms of, well, I'm going to guess, a young girl, maybe 6, 7, or 8, brunette, who is also looking straight ahead at us with another indeterminate expression. So this, I don't know. I did see the name Hayao Miyazaki mentioned at the bottom. And I always appreciate a director whose last name means welcome.
Ah, well, yes, it's the synopsis: time travel gets a magical spin in Hugo Bienvenu.
Bienvenue.
It's an animated adventure produced and voiced by Natalie Portman, a charming paean to friendship between two children from different eras, and a warning about our failure to preserve our environment, which is perhaps where the Miyazaki part comes in. Anime, but done by a Frenchman. We've seen a couple animes done by Frenchmen, which I don't know. The French, I guess, are interested in anime. There was the one with the frog whose name escapes
Oh,
me.
yeah.
And then there was another one, two that we featured. I didn't know we were going to talk about this film, so I don't have those names at mind. I'll add them to the comments. Okay, that's an anime, and that, with Natalie Portman behind it, more likely to get distribution, I would say. Let's go to one whose title we should perhaps not pronounce. It's always interesting to me when people choose these titles because they know they're going to affect their distribution prospects. This
Mm.
is, of course, I'm speaking, of course, of "Fuck My Son!" exclamation mark. And we do have a bit more interesting still here, Giles. Would you like to
Yeah.
describe the still for
Oh,
F My Son?
yeah, we got a terrible, dingy, icky pea green corridor leading to a brick wall. Off to the left side, we can see an open doorway. And standing, looking at us amidst a modest amount of junk around the floor, is an elderly woman, silver white hair, glasses. She's enjoying a cigarette, has one of those frickin' dress blouse things that I don't think they've made for the past 40 years or more, with a lace collar and a brooch on it. And she's got sort of long socks that are falling down, and oh, I really, yeah, some sort of heeled shoe. So all very much, she's the old woman character from, more than a quarter century ago already. She is holding a steaming tea kettle thing. And yeah, so I am intrigued
It's an
by
old
what's that?
it's an old woman.
It's an old woman, old dress, old shoes.
She is a matriarch.
Mm.
Okay, let me describe this for you. I'll read you the description. Todd Rohal, who we might know from the Cataclysm, Uncle Kent 2, the Guatemalan Handshake, and a number of shorts that we featured on our site. And I must say, I tend to like his shorts work the best.
Mm.
Anyway, Todd Rohal violates all boundaries of good taste in this gleefully profane adaptation of Johnny Ryan's underground comic about a decrepit mother, played by Robert Longstreet, who will stop at nothing to get her mutant son, Stevie Little, laid. So, yes, here's some.
Yes, indeed.
Describing Todd Rohal, they call him one of America's most anarchic contemporary surrealists, and they call the movie the most abject exercise in poor taste since Pink Flamingos. So that's going to be that's going to be something we'll be forced to check out, I think.
Well, they have a nothing but trouble name drop
They
in the
do. That's what I
description.
was
So maybe point Pete at this, since he loves that kind of stuff.
That's what I was giggling about, the nothing but trouble name drop there. The programmer cheekily describes it as akin to being sneezed upon by Dan Aykroyd's penile nose from Nothing But Trouble. And I made a big deal about Dan Aykroyd's nose in my review of that, and even chose that as a still to illustrate that movie. So yes, this is going to be bad taste, John Waters style, but done Todd Rohal style. Todd Rohal's sense of humor can be a acquired taste, I find. I have not been the biggest fan of the feature films I've seen of his, although as I will say, I tend to like the shorts more because it's the kind of thing that works better for me in small doses. But very absurdist and fairly obscene. You've seen Uncle Kent too, Giles.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was absurd and giddy and stupid and committed.
And the premise for Uncle Kent 2 was kind of great, where he took it's a sequel to Uncle Kent, which was a mumblecore movie that
Yep.
almost nobody saw, and so they made the sequel and just turned it into this surrealist comedy instead of anything that really had to do with the original Uncle Kent, which I thought was both brilliant and very nice of the original director to allow them to take that direction. But
Yeah, and he even directed the first 3 to 5 minute segment before the credits, and there's a real difference in tone once Todd Rohal took over.
and hands it over to Todd Rohal for. So there it is. F my son, trying to get her son laid. Let me keep going. I'm going to keep going so we get through the ones that I had identified for sure. Let's go to. I have to scroll up on this site. You can see how many darn movies there are
Yeah,
here.
and
There's
special.
one. It's a still from Stills. You want to describe this still from Stills really quickly?
Yeah, it's
Not
fire. It's mostly see this something is burning. It looks like I think I can make out it's a car, and so a bright flame going into an ambient orange, and we're looking at this probably car explosion fire
much.
over the shoulders of two fairly nondescript fellows.
Yeah. So this is called Barrio Triste. It's a hallucinatory found footage movie set among Medellin's juvenile delinquents. And it's from a guy named Stills, who I am not familiar with, but he's a movie music video director. And the score is from Arco, who I'm also not familiar with. These may be Colombian names. The Colombians may know who this is, since this is a Colombian production. It is sort of, as you know, throwback aesthetic. It's found footage, but it's kind of camcorder style. And the really curious thing about here is that it is from Harmony Korine's production company, and he is the executive producer. Edgelord, the people who brought us famously, what's it called? The baby movie.
Oh, yes, Baby
What's it
Killers.
called? Baby. Gosh, why did I forget
You
that?
know, I reviewed it. I should know this.
Neither of us can remember the name. It's not Baby Killer.
Baby Invasion.
Baby Invasion. Yeah, okay. So that's Edgelord, yes. And the programmer says you might recognize Corinne's thumbprint here. More trash humpers than Mr. Lonely. Although it's the first film made by the production house without him at the film, he clearly is the inspiration and has picked this as something for them to back. So that's a Barrio Triste. Harmony Korine fans will want to check that out. This next one is one that we discussed when it came to Sundance. And now
Oh yeah.
it's at
Yeah.
Toronto, so it's probably nearing the end of its run. It's bookended two major festivals. Very good to play. A very good sign that it played both those festivals. You want to describe this still?
Yeah, we got a green overcast lighting going on here for a profile view of one young woman and a front view of another. Their dress looks kind of strangely formal in a way. But I guess the most prominent thing worth mentioning is the right hand front on view of that young woman. She seems to have a whole lot of blood kind of just smeared around, but with purpose, sort of makeup style, I want to say. But a lot of it that is shining particularly red because of whatever chromatic scheme they chose for lighting this pair of individuals.
Yes, and this is Dead Lover. It is about a grave digger who reanimates a corpse to be her lover, presumably of a dead lover. And it's a campy and gonzo spin on Frankenstein. In the movie, I saw her interviewed or do a little promotional piece. She mentions that the lead character, the female grave digger, stinks and no one can stand to be around her
Hmm.
except for this one man. So this movie they describe as audacious. They describe it as a quintessential midnight movie experience concocted from a delightfully campy witch's brew of influences from British pantomime to German expressionism, madcap gothic comedy.
Yeah, we skipped
So
over the alliterative wonderfully wackadoo.
wonderfully wackadoo. Yes, I'm just skipping through. Yeah, and it's from Grace Glowicki. I believe this would be her debut directorial feature. We have seen her acting in a number of movies, but it's very promising, especially since it got all that notice from two different major festivals.
Yeah, and the not on the horror review types I follow on various social media have all had good things to say about this, particularly in regards to its delightful strangeness. So,
Yeah, it might be, to be honest, from the previews I'm hearing about Del Toro's Frankenstein, I'm thinking this may be the better Frankenstein movie of the year. Um, this one, we have a trailer for this actually. I don't know if you saw it, Giles.
no, no, I
Okay.
unfortunately
Do you want
didn't.
to describe quickly just in the still from this
Or
trailer?
we're in a basement. We're seeing two fellas clinking glasses, looking affably at each other. On the left-hand side, in a black mock turtleneck, is an older guy with a good wave of hair. I'm gonna guess he's in his 70s, and he's all grins. And on the right-hand side is a black gentleman in a green collared shirt. Gonna guess, I don't know, maybe 40s or something like that. And so, yeah, not very descriptive, but I'm feeling a lot of amiability from this frame here.
Okay, so this is The Man in the Basement, and this has been, it's from Hulu. It's backed by Hulu, so it will play on Hulu, and everybody who has Hulu at least will get the chance to see it for free. The trailer was released quite a while ago, and I watched it, and it's hard to pin down, but it seemed promising. It seemed like something that could go either way. It could be really weird, It could just be a little weird and end up with a totally rational explanation. But you have to see kind of the ambiguous trailer to understand why this kind of grabbed me. Also, the fact that Willem Dafoe is in it. Usually it's a good sign when Willem Dafoe shows up in a movie that it's going to be a bit stranger than average. The plot is essentially about the black gentleman here is in financial trouble. The mysterious businessman played by Dafoe comes to his rescue by requesting to rent his basement for way over market prices, a deal he can't refuse. But then he has a bunch of strange requests and things get strange. There's going to be, some sort of racial tension or metaphor in there some way. And it is from a novel by Walter Mosley, who was a crime mystery writer, but this is like his only non-mystery novel. So I don't want to spoil it by finding out what it may be, but there's going to be some kind of twist or mystery in it. I will say that African masks feature in that somehow. So that was The Man in My Basement. And just since we have just a little bit of time, one more I thought I'd like to mention is Levers, which is a movie from Canada that explores the effects of a global day of darkness on the residents of a small Canadian town. It's dreamlike. Per the director, it was shot in 16 millimeter on broken Bolex cameras, and you can see...
And you can tell.
Yeah, you can see it has a very gritty, kind of fuzzy look to the image here. The only image we have. Not much of that, but the programmer says it has sensuous small town realism roused from an unsettling, unnatural occurrence. So it seems fairly promising. That one I think has probably maybe the least chances for distribution, though, of the one.
Yeah, I'm looking up Andrea Picard's IMDb page. There isn't much there, so we should jump on this and get in on the ground floor.
Yes. All right. Well, that should about do it for our Toronto preview. Again, Egghead Republic is my top pick. Giles, your top pick?
Oh, I mean, Junk World, probably.
Weird. Yeah, I guess that is the word for it. Weird.